Hello. This is Els coming to you from Beamish Crafty Corner. And today I want to talk to you about finishing your books. So here is a book cover that I'm working on. And this just started off as a store-bought book cover. I just gutted it out. I used some wallpaper to make a book cover. And put in a piece of chipboard to just stabilize my back spine. Covered that with some Tyvek, and then I have this very, ugly inside, and I want to make this more attractive. So one of the easiest ways to do that, you put paper in here, and then you have like all that bubbling and everything. So one of the easiest ways I have found to do it is to make what is known as book cloth. So one of the main products that people use is something called Heat Bond. This is the Heat Bond Light. It's completely sewable. You can put this through a sewing machine. This also comes in Heat Bond Ultra, and it's a red label. And you can still pierce your holes to make your book using the Heat Bond Ultra. It's just a stiffer product, okay? And I'll show you the difference between the two. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to use a piece of Heat Bond and some cotton fabric. This is commonly known as muslin or calico, shirting, broadcloth. There's a couple of different names for it, but basically it's just cotton, lightweight cotton fabric, okay? So the first thing that you would do is you would measure your book, and what I tend to do is I tend to measure the whole book from end to end. Even though I'm going to bring it in a little bit, I like to work with the whole size. So I just measure my book end to end, side to side, and then that's the size fabric that I would cut of my broadcloth in order to make my book, my inside book liner. So let's go ahead and get rid of these real quick. So these are two book cloths, okay? One of them is made with the light. And you can see this is very pliable and soft. And this one is actually made with the Ultra Bond. And you can see it's not quite as pliable, okay? I like to use this for things like outside spines. If I was going to place a cloth spine on the outside of a book, then this would be a good, the Ultra Bond would be good for this, because this part of the book is going to take a lot of wear and tear. If I'm going to be putting it on the inside of the book, then I would prefer something that was made from the light, simply because it's not going to take as much moving around. It's not going to take as much handling, okay? So how, you ask, do you do this incredible product? Well, it's pretty simple. First, we cut down our fabric to the size that we want, and then we're going to cut a piece of the Heat Bond. Now, Heat Bond is just a brand name, to be honest. You can buy this a lot less expensively by just buying fusible web. What you're looking for is like thermoweb. It is designed for making appliques, and you can buy it on a white bolt. It comes on a white bolt, has instructions, doesn't have to be this brand name. So you can get this less expensive in most fabric stores. So you would cut a piece of that that's about the same size, just a slight bit smaller than the piece that you're going to cut for your actual book cloth. And then we're going to get out some tissue paper. Now, tissue paper tends to have two sides. One side that's shiny, see the shine? And then the other side of it is not shiny. See the difference? Shiny and not shiny. Okay. You can use colored tissue paper, designed tissue paper, whatever kind of tissue paper you want. It doesn't really matter. The packing paper that comes like from Walmart, the really thin craft paper, is also good for this. The tissue paper is just the thinnest thing you can put on the back. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a sandwich. You're going to create a sandwich. You're going to take your fabric that you have cut to the size that you want, a piece of the heat and bond that you have cut slightly smaller, and then you're going to sandwich the whole thing in between a piece of tissue paper. And you're going to take it to the iron. Now, this is the important part. Do not listen to some people who tell you to heat this up as hot as it will go, as hot as your iron will go, and then press it on. No, don't do that. Because the reason is that your fabric isn't going to take the heat, and your fabric can melt, and it'll look like this. When you pull up this piece, not only do you not adhere a lot of this, you can see where there's marks in it, but you see where this is pulled in? That's because you've actually scorched the fabric. So you end up with this melted, congealed mess that you can't use. And this, where your adhesive is still melted basically to the background. And you can just pull that right off of there because it's already plastic. So you don't want to do that. Do not use the hottest setting. Watched quite a few of these videos to see if there were any changes in this procedure since I did it last. And there isn't, except that there are a lot of people out there telling you to put the iron on the hottest setting possible. And this is what's going to happen to your fabric if you do that. So please don't listen to them. Please don't do that. Okay? So that's no good. You don't want that. What you want to do is you want to iron your fabric at the hottest temperature permissible for your fabric. Okay? And so we take our little sandwich over to the ironing board and we iron on the tissue paper. Then we're going to open the tissue paper up and we're going to remove the backing from the heat and bond. Okay? Hold on to this because this actually makes really good back paper for when you're painting and stuff and you don't want to make a mess. So then you're going to have a little bit of the heat and bond that may leak over. It's okay. So we're just going to peel the tissue paper off. Okay? Now, in order to get the tissue paper off the backing, what I use is a metal ruler or a plastic ruler, whatever you have. Just put the ruler down on the edge and just peel off the tissue paper. Now, if you don't get this perfect, it's okay. Because we're going to cut it anyway. I like the straight edge just because it helps to get the tissue paper off of there without peeling anything off of the heat and bond. Now, once you have it off, you can clip this down with a pair of scissors, or you can just take it and put it on a grid cutting board and cut it to the size that you need. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so once we've cleaned this up, there's a couple of things you can do. One, you can cut it down on your grid board. Two, you can mark it with a ruler, how long and how wide you need it, and then just draw a straight line and cut it with your scissors. And I suggest doing that on the paper side. Now, I have paper, my Thermobond, and then my fabric. So if I bring my book in, missed a little bit of tissue paper here. Here we go. If I bring in my book, this is going to fit, giving me that little bit on each side, little bit top and bottom. And I can now glue this into my book because now I am gluing paper to paper. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that really quick, just so you guys can see how that goes. And I'm going to get out my glue and my glue brush and everything, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the product that I am using is Aleene's with a little bit of water just to make it a little bit spreadable, because we all know that Aleene's can get thick. And I'm just going to shake it up a little bit to make sure that I get the water incorporated. I'm going to find the midpoint in my book. And so I'm going to start with just putting some glue in the spine. And I'm using a brush just to make sure that I get this well spread, because I want to get into the cracks and crevices. I'm just going to paint on my glue, and then I'm going to take my book cloth, which I have folded in half so I know where the midpoint is, and I'm just going to kind of lay that sort of on the midpoint, just so that I've got it in here. And I'm going to press the paper into the seams. And then I'm just going to fold this back, and I'm going to paint this side. Now, if you're really careful, you could just paint this and put it in. I'm not so talented. So I basically just paint the blue part, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And what I do is I use like my ruler or whatever tool I have available to do it. And I use it to kind of press this. You can use your brayer. You can use a bone folder if you want. However you want to do this. And you just kind of press it in to the glue. Get your wrinkles out. If you have to lift the corner, do that now. And you're going to see you're going to get extra glue that comes out. It's okay. You want that extra glue to come out. If you have any places that need glue, just come back in with your brush and just put in that glue. Okay. So now I have one half done. I'm going to turn it around and work on the other half. And on this side, I'm going to show you how to do the painting the glue on the paper itself. So for that, you just simply come in and paint the whole piece of book cloth. Edge to edge, corner to corner. If you're going to do that, you should always make sure that you have some kind of paper underneath to work with so that you're not getting glue all over everything, okay? So I'm just going to go corner to corner, edge to edge here. Adding glue. And of course, this is Aleene's, so we want to give it a couple of seconds to get tacky. Now, if you're using the fast grab, work faster. But plain old Aleene's, you can just kind of work it a little bit until it starts to get tacky. And then you're just going to fold that over. Make sure that you get it all pressed in. Work it across. Use your bone folder. Make sure you're laying it down nice and snug. If you have any bubbles, pull up the corners. Remove any excess glue. Now, Aileen's dries clear, so you shouldn't have a problem with anything showing up if you get glue on the top. And of course, a quick way to fix that is to just add an embellishment inside your cover. Ha ha. I know, it's a cheat, but what can I say? All right, so I'm going to basically set this aside and let it dry. And I just want to make sure that I have those grooves nice and tight on both sides. I'm going to work it a little bit, folding it up to make sure that I have everything tucked in and nothing bows when I fold it. If it does, I'm going to hit it with my bone folder and knock it back down. And then I'm going to let it dry upright, just like this. Okay? I want the book closed to let it dry. And as soon as this is dry, we'll be back and I'll show you the finished product. So what I have here is some Sari silk ribbon, and you could glue this in first. Just tack it in, and then just put your book cloth over it. And then when you closed your book, you would have a built-in tie. You could, if you wanted to, just using any piece of lace or trim or anything like that that you have that you think might make your book more decorative, you could certainly take that and glue it around the outside of your book cloth here. So that's also a good fix if you cut your book cloth just a tad bit too small, and it happens. Instead of wasting the entire piece of book cloth, you can just take a piece of lace or ribbon or trim and just put it around your book cloth in order to cover that defect up. See, like I got this a little off center, so I could just put some lace or something around it and just make it more even. Okay, so that's it. That's the easy way to put book cloth into a book and to finish the inside of a book so that you can now put your holes in and apply your binding. That's it, guys. That's it. Quick, okay? All right, so if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. If you have, thank you so much. And until the next time, like me, ring my bell, and share me with all your friends. Because I got books and book cloth, and you guys can't wait to see what this one's going to be. Bye-bye.